Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. Today's Titan is Minister Enqi. Peace to you, God.
Peace.
Peace. Host Kalam, this is Talk with the Titans. Today's Titan is Minister Rookie mistake. Let me restart that. For everybody who's
Leave it. That's good.
Nah. I'm gonna restart it. For everybody who's watching right now and you just saw that, please share the link. We've got Minister Enqi with us right now, and it's about to get heated. So please share the link with everybody you know. All right, I'm gonna restart it in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. Today's Titan is Minister Enqi. Peace to you, King.
Peace again.
Peace. You know what? Of course, we've got Minister Enqi with us. You know what? He's got a really jam-packed full presentation for us, and it's going to get real heated. You know, I've got some stuff in here that is going to get real heated for everybody within inside of the conscious community. Your ears are going to be ringing and banging pretty much soon. So Minister Enqi, can you let us know the overview? What have you got in store for us today?
Well, I really wanted to talk about some naked Instagram girls, fake booties, butt shots. No, just kidding. Actually, I'm actually not kidding. No. What I want to talk about is the full component or the full components to health. I think that over time we've kind of stressed diet and plant-based lifestyle a little bit too much, and not the other components, stretching and posture and working out more than anything else. So. I just want to talk about holistic healing and then maybe get into some of the roots of modern day science and biology, going back to Kemetic and all of those things, and get a chance to talk to people. And, because a lot of people been wondering, where have I been? And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you niggas? I'm making videos every day. Like, I'm on Instagram at Minister Enqi Wusia. Every day I put up like 1,000 posts. But what happens is, and it's kind of a good thing, but at the same time, it's kind of it detracts a little bit from people's attention span. People like to be able to do, we're lazy right now, which is one of the reasons why we lead the world in illness, because we're lazy. And what I mean by that is, we want to go to one channel where we can find every speaker talking about every subject, and we forget that if we go to Talk with the Titans, or we go to Black Ice TV, or we go to House of Consciousness, or we go to Know the Ledge, or any of these, or we go to I can't believe I was about to forget my man Rich. If we go to Black Magic 363, the legend, right? We forget that all these people that we listen to, that we like, that they have their own channel. Like, we forget they have their own channel. You can go to that person's channel and you'll get more in-depth information, more frequent information, etc., etc. So, I've been on my channel, and then outside of that, I think that a large problem, what's going on with us in terms of progress, is that we've gotten so caught up in, and the people have gotten caught up as well. We've gotten so caught up in arguing about who's got the best solution to the problems that we deal with every day, that we forget that at some point we have to get busy with one of the solutions. So what I said to myself coming through 2015 was, 2016 is not going to catch me still discussing what I'm getting ready to do and how we can do this, that, and the other. 2016 is about putting in, whatever you've been saying you're going to do, now is the time that you should be doing it. So the vegan mafia, we got we got a lot of things going on right now. People coming out of the vegan mafia camp. You know, I got a brother releasing a major film right now. Kel Dog, that's going to be amazing. You know, it's a real diverse character group. You know what I'm saying? That's the proper way to say that. But the concepts behind the film is about connecting back to nature and that kind of thing. I'll be doing a lecture in Charlotte, May 22nd, a couple of weeks. One of the brothers, he just got his own barbershop, and in the barbershop, he's going to have, it's going to be lectures, and, so he's going to build up the community there. We got another brother opening up a smoothie bar in New York, so it's just like, we got a record label. I forgot my man Marvo. We got a record label in Chicago. Like, that's bananas. We building the crazy studio out there. So we just really active. I got the sports clinic out here in Detroit. So we really just, like, doing the things that we said we was going to do.
That's right. That's right. And I love that because, you touched on something that was very paramount. Most people don't realize that, the channels such as Titans TV, Talk with the Titans, Black Eyes TV, Sarnet TV, Black News 102, as well as Black Magic. Big up to my brother Rich. I saw him out there in New York as well. These channels are actually platforms, promotional platforms that actually get your message across into a broad stream of audiences. But the people that actually on these channels have their own channels that you should actually be going to and supporting their work, such as my brother Minister Enqi. He's got his Minister Enqi Sangreal channel right here. I'm pretty sure everybody here can see it. Let me know if you can see it. Yep, you can see it. Okay, great. So yeah, as you can see here.
That was crazy just now. I'm like, yo, how the fuck did my moms get on the screen just now?
So yeah, as you can see, Minister Enqi's been literally uploading videos near enough every single day. Uploads right here, Minister Enqi, stem cells of the hood nagas niggas off the body. Another one a day ago as well. Minister Enqi, Messy Kitchen, Vegan, Tuna Fish, Testosterone a day ago, 3 days ago, 6 days ago, a week ago. Minister Enqi has been dropping some sciences and bombs on his channel. So please go check out his channel. He's got a very, very popular channel, as you can clearly see. So please check out the brother Minister Enqi's channel, support his work, subscribe to Minister Enqi, and please go visit the website. Go visit actually. I believe Ready for Is it Ready for? No, who's doing the 40dayfruitfast.com? Who's dealing with that?
Me.
That's you, right? So please go check out the website as well, the 40-Day Fruit Fast, and support our brothers in all their endeavors that they're doing. It's not easy. It's not easy, man. Here we are right now. So for everybody who's actually tuned in, please, I implore you to please hit the share button. We are actually live right now with the brother Minister Enqi. A lot of people from the UK have been going wild. I was literally sitting down. Who was we with? Professor Salih's son, Dr. Stephen Salih. We were sitting down with him. He was speaking. He was talking about your name. Brother Red Pill and Blue Pill came up in the conversation as well with health. Speaking about these are the great health physicians, herbalists, medicine men that we actually need to actually bring over to the UK and really get our health consciousness up to the par that we need it to be. So please, everybody who's tuning in right now, hit the share button. And for those of you who are new to Talk with the Titans, Talk with the Titans was literally birthed out the idea that the Titans, the intellectual giants of our community, should have a well-organized platform to present, discuss, and debate critical information affecting our community, proposed by you, our audience members, our community, and we've heard you. You've all said to me, get brother Minister Enqi on. We haven't seen him on the channel and we need him, so here he is, and he's going to be breaking down the God body. How do you get your God body ready? I'm trying to get my God body ready for the summer, to be honest with you, but this is a state of mind as well. Get your God mentality ready as well. So Minister Enqi, are you there?
You know it.
Great.
Wait, before you get going, can I just make one small correction to the doctor that you were just talking about? And I appreciate and love the praise, but I could feel through the air my brother KT. Like, yo, how the hell did you not correct him? Brother KT is the little brother to Red Pill and Blue Pill, but he's the dedicated healer of the family. You know, so Blue and Red, they do their thing, they dab a little bit, but KT is the guy in terms of that family. So it's actually three of them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people forget about KT because Blue and Red is twins and they always on the screen, but you know, KT is usually the one in the cut with Mama Pill, the legend. So that's, I just wanted to add that in. So big up my man KT. Now we can go. Now we can move on safely.
Yeah. We definitely need to get. You know what? We actually haven't had Blue Pill, Brother Blue Pill, and KT, the Arch Degree, actually on the channel properly. We've had a quick feature, but we haven't had them on the screen properly, as well as Mama Pill. We need to make that happen as well. So yeah, we're gonna get lively right about now. We're gonna get real lively. So actually, I'm gonna ask you again to please hit the share button. Come on, hit the share button. Hit it on the Facebook. Hit it on the Twitter. Hit it on the Google. Hit it on your Reddit. Wherever you are, please share this link. Let everybody know Minister Enqi is here with us right now, live, and I'm gonna start asking him those controversial questions. We're gonna open it up real quickly, straight away. I'm gonna do the quick fire round. I'm gonna actually get some questions in from our audience members as well. So if you've got any questions for Minister Enqi, oh man, ask Enqi if he's still in New Covenant, Titans TV. That's from Raymond Salga. Okay, I'm definitely going to ask him that. I'm definitely going to ask that question. I see you. Everybody just typing in the questions. I don't even get to ask it. Tell them to ask the questions. All right, so here we go. We're doing a quick fire round right now. So my first question to you actually is going to be handed over to Isa. Isa representing Islam or Black Islam in the UK. Assalamu alaikum, Ak.
Walaikum salam, family.
Yes.
Brilliant to have this brother on the show. You know what I mean? Okay, Brother Minister Enqi. I watched the video where it's like a debate, discussion, rant, and whatever else between you and Minister, what's his name, Brother Ngozi. And you presented what you were saying about abiogenesis. Yes, can you please, and unfortunately, it seems Sarnetta and maybe Ngozi misheard you, but Sarnetta and whoever else were, really going for it, pretending you didn't say what you did say, and you made the video afterwards to prove you did. Yeah. Can you correct the position that was wrong with those brothers, and also speak on why it is that they keep promoting something so negative? Like, if a brother said something, then why somebody else would keep going and trying to say, well, no, he didn't say that, and blah, 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 etc.
Hold on.
That's loaded, boy. That's loaded. Y'all started that Titan talking to Titan shit early.
Oh my gosh. Where
right,
name
just the first question then.
I gotta put my grapefruit down for that. Okay, so here's the thing. As you know, Sa is my man, but Sa has his favorites, and if he has already decided in his mind prior to the discussion which direction he's gonna go in, that's the direction he's gonna go in throughout the entire conversation. So that's as hard as I'm gonna go on side. But with Ngozi, we kind of did our thing in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times with the social media, and it's one of the things that we have to deal with and come into some level of maturity. But I think when people just deal with each other through social media, it takes away from the interaction. And so when we got a chance to actually live with each other in Atlanta for, I think it was like 2 or 3 days, we was in the hotel, same floor. We had our little, the videos online. We did our little thing in the hotel room. Unc came up with his hating ass at the end of the conversation and tried to Like, he missed 3/4 of me and Ngozi's conversation. So me and Ngozi was actually at a real good place, because the thing with certain types of science, when you're really going in, to be honest, just to be honest, most of the people that watch us in these scientific conversations have no idea what we're talking about one way or the other. So this is why I really stress to people to do their own research on the topics and take their time. But we have a problem where people get caught up in personality worship. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear the personality worship in the terms that they use. You know what I'm saying? So soon as you hear somebody say a key term like, that's pseudo, you know, they getting that shit off Unc channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, we got a situation where we got to, just maturity we got to come into. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Unc is pretty good with archaeology, but he got to keep that shit confined to archaeology. Outside of archaeology, Unc don't know what he was talking about. So me and Ngozi was actually at a good place, because I could go into my shit heavy and he can follow. Now, not only does Ngozi go deep into science, but I don't know if that's his passion or that's just how he talks. But Ngozi speak fast as a motherfucking auctioneer. You know what I'm saying? He be like, so not only do you have to deal with knowing the scientific terminology, but you got to deal with the speed of his voice. So I think that on the flip side, I'm one of the only people that can clearly really understand him. So we kind of came to this place where, whether we agree with each other or not, you know, we kind of respected each other's science, and we had a really good building dialogue. Now, as far as abiogenesis, there's no proof that life as we know it came from inanimate objects. But I think the reason why the direction is pushed so hard for abiogenesis is because, you know, Unc, I guess he seems to be the leader of the Amun Ra squad. He's trying to push this atheist thing so hard. So the moment that you exit outside of abiogenesis, then you have to add that there's an intelligent force behind the things that we see, what's going on, etc., which I, for one, have come to grips with long time ago as a boy. You know what I'm saying? So some people call it God, the source, the Most High, etc., Allah, Buddha, Yahweh. To me, it doesn't really matter the name we put on it, because I know that it's really dealing with scientific forces. And when we had the evolution conference, I actually laid out, demonstrated, and showed the people what God is and how it's been translated through the eyes, ears, and words of people at various times into various codexes. So, but it's very simple for the average person to understand, because you're only dealing with information, you know, and there has to be information in order to organize things, period, into molecules and larger blah, 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 blah. And the only thing possible of holding information is a magnetic field. The only thing possible to create plasma is a magnetic field, and everything in our universe comes out of plasma. So what I demonstrated that at the evolution conference, and, you know, I kind of put all that stuff to rest. But, you know, so Unc is really just, you know, I along the way, I've created some haters / stalkers that just really can't get enough of me, you know. And it's funny because people will be like, yo, you know, they'll go in. I hate me. Like when you put the flyer up for this show, oh my fucking God. Now, here's the funny thing about this guy, right? I'm not even going to say his name because I don't want to give him any free promotions, right? But here's the funny thing about this guy. I actually met this guy at a lecture I did, a small little lecture we did at my homeboy's house. KT hooked it up. He came in student form. Now, when I said this to him, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, he got highly insulted and was like, what, motherfucker? I'm not no student and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Me, first of all, that shows that your spirit is not easy. You know what I'm saying? Anytime because I still go to other people's lectures. I was just at SETI, Young Pharaoh, and KT's lecture. I'm not speaking. So that means I'm there to learn. I'm a student. Grand opening, grand closing. It's nothing difficult or crazy or insulting about that. As a teacher, you have to be in student roles sometimes. That's the yin and the yang to being a teacher. When you're around people that are more experienced than you, you're a student. The moment you leave the presence of people that are more experienced in a given subject than you are, and you're around people that are less experienced than you are, you have the responsibility to become the teacher now and share the information. So it's reciprocal. It continues. The cycle continues. So any real teacher would know that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I met this guy. He came out to the lecture. So I'm assuming you came to learn, right? So we built, you know, he was real like hungry for knowledge. And then he had some knowledge that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? He was into some, you know, like the paperwork and the contracts and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. We could build, you know, I'm going to share what I got. You share, you know, like that. So eventually I start really getting attached to the brother. And I'm like, well, look, you need to get yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these other guys. Anybody that deals with me, like if you look around the conscious community, I'm the only one that consistently tries to work and build with everyone. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into politics like that. It's only one me. So I don't feel insecure to the point where I need to, like, no, you can't be me. I can't be you. You know what I'm saying? So we can come together, get busy. If we can't come together as teachers, I don't think the people are going to be able to come together that follow us. So I'm always looking to come together with brothers. So anyway, I'm like, look, I'm going to share my platform. At the time, I had Blog Talk Radio popping. So I'm like, come on and host the show. So I had him on my show hosting for like 9 months or so to get his name popping and all that. Then later on, he tells me, well, look, you know, I'm getting into the Moorish thing, and, you know, I'm interested in branching off with this brother. You know, what do you think about that? I said, well, you know, to be honest, I don't really rock with that particular brother, only because everybody he seems to get with at an opportunity, if it looks like he'll get more promotion, like, you know, he'll shit on the person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't want to get wrapped up with him. You know what I'm saying? Because I had just came out of drama with Ali and all this other kind of stuff. I was like, nah. I got to get to work and be focused, man. I don't want to be in no next drama. Like, that's not how my business is built. My business is built on service to the people, period. You know what I'm saying? So I got to focus and dedicate my time to that. So anyway, he's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get with him. I'm like, well, look, I ain't going to be mad with you. You know, you do your thing over here with him, do your thing over here with me, but we're just not going to bring them together. So eventually, rumors, drama start. I'm like, all right, well, look, here's the thing. Let's do this peacefully, because me and you don't have no problems. If you go and do your thing with homeboy, go on ahead, and I'm going to go this way. Minister Enqi start going on the road, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities a month. Before you know it, every time I leave a city, he calling up the city, talking about, can they bring him in for a lecture? And, you know, it just doesn't work like that over here in the States. It's kind of like networking, and you got to really know people for them to bring you in, because a lot of times when they bring you in, you staying at their house, you got to, you know, you got to meet their family. So if they don't really mess with you like that, you know, they don't just bring me in for a lecture. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. It's, you got to commune with people and really, you know. So anyway, they just, you know, the situation just turned foul, and he just start, you know, like stalking me. But the craziest thing is, I'm like, I can't imagine. Like, I'm too busy. I have children. Children have, you know, I got a life. Then I got people I have to service. I got a business to run, online, offline, consultations in front of me, consultations on the phone, products to manage. I cannot see dedicating, and I got long ass videos, right? So how is it that people that don't like me manage to watch every motherfucking video? Like, I can't understand that. They watch every video, every post. You know, I'm like, yo, you are a full-time stalker, brother. What's wrong with you? If you feel like you have better information, or you got some stuff that I might have missed, or whatever it is, you shouldn't be consuming all your energy watching me. What you should be doing is out somewhere in the world, building that thing up and offering that to the people, so that, you know, we can follow the Elijah Muhammad rule. Just put your clean glass next to the dirty glass and let the people choose. It's just that simple. So, you know, I think that people have got caught up in the the 50 Cent thing, and then they see that the debates are getting really popular. So I think that people now are looking for a shortcut. And again, that's the sickness that our people have. We're always looking for a shortcut. You know, so it's like, instead of me taking the time to build my business and service people one person at a time so that I could build a repertoire of my own and stand on my own merit, I'll wait and find somebody else that already built a repertoire for themselves 5, 10, 15 years. And then what I'll do is try to cut that person down in the public in hopes that the people that I show, you know, like I can demonstrate that I'm smarter than he is, and then now all the people that follow him will follow me. It's just like, come on, man, this is, you know, we got to have more faith in each other, because we assume that the people that watch these videos are all stupid, and they're not. The smart people are able to see through the games and the shortcuts and the bullshit and just, you know, so, you know, I got him, you know, Unc seems to entertain himself with my name every 5 minutes. And, you know, so at a certain point, you know, I might have to grab somebody by the collar and shake them up a little bit. I think that that's about due, you know, because I think that back in the days when it was like the 5%ers and the, you know, Doc had his thing real strong. You can't even really put him in a hole, because it was like Ansar Allah community, then it was the Hebrew, then it was the right knowledge, and then it was Nuwapi. So whatever time you caught on to Doc was a different school of thought. But back then, it was a heavy debate culture, but the disrespect was real minimum, because at some point, somebody was gonna, you know, hey, how are you doing, sir? You know what I'm saying? It was going to reach out and touch you. So I think that with the social media thing is getting a little bit crazy, and everybody wants to act real crazy online. And then when they see you somewhere, it's like peace, peace, peace. Or they got off-duty police officers escorting them around and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the street. I can't come from a street culture and get, you know, like, I got armed policemen walking me around amongst smart niggas. Like, that's just, I can't see it. You know what I'm saying? So, but so that's where that whole thing is with the drama. But you know, me and Ngozi is really good, in a good place. I'm actually building with them brothers now to put a lecture together. You know what I'm saying? So me and Ngozi can sit down and teach the people, and I think that it's going to be really good for the community, because when you bring the people who are creative in one given field together, it creates a synergy, and we can push each other forward and go a little bit deeper, as opposed to an argument which polarizes personalities, and then we kind of keep reiterating the same points over and over, and people kind of get tired of it, and it turns people off, you know. So I think that it's going to be real good. But you know, like I got a lot of love from the Amara squad, period, overall. You know what I'm saying? Just Unc is a stalker. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have anything better to do with himself. All them goddamn books that he does them videos in front of, like, why isn't he reading them joints? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got better things to do than stalk me. You know what I'm saying? And he be making video after video about me, and I don't even make videos in return, because I'm like, yo, why would I even respond to this guy? You know what I'm saying? The people that I speak to, you can't speak to my audience. You don't have the expertise that I do, so you can't even speak to my audience. And the audience that you have, I'm not really concerned with those people, because they don't support me or what I do. So it's like, yo, you can cuss me out over there to your small little audience, and I'll be over here teaching and healing people over here, and, you know, whatever.
Uh-oh. Be careful. Be careful. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. You know, Unc is always waiting to jump on. He's always waiting to jump on. So be careful.
Well, listen, this is the thing. There's an event coming up in August. This is what I'm saying. This is what I think brothers need to start doing. There's an event coming up in August with Polite Debate and Tommy Sotomayor. I think that whatever Unc need to say to me and Unc need to go in the back room alone for about 3 minutes like men and discuss whatever he need to say. You know, I don't think that we need to keep doing social media at this point. I think that as grown-ass men, if he really got something he needs to get off his chest, we can go in a nice closed room and we can stay in that room until all of those issues are straightened out. Just me and Unc.
Or hear me out for a hot second. Or we can do something like the celebrity death matches, you know. Um, we can do, you know, a celebrity, or should I say, a conscious boxing tournament. You know, anybody that wants to actually talk smack, you know what? Let's put some money down and let's get into the ring for a little bit. That's just me. I would love to see that. You know me. I'm an entertainment guy. So if that's possible and anybody would like to get into the ring, holler at me, and let me make this actually happen. Because I think a lot of the audience would love to see that.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm sure they would, because people are getting into Roman mind programming. You know what I'm saying? Where everything is one against the other, and that's not really African. African is, you know, 2 heads better than 1, 3 heads better than 2. But now we caught up in this Roman thing where only one, you know, there can only be one kind of thing. And, you know, with social media, it makes problems larger than they have to be. So if 2 men go into private and handle a problem in private, whether they use words, you know, fists, chairs, whatever, it stays private, and only amongst those 2 will they know what really transpired in that room. I think that once you make it social and then people can video it and then it's around forever, you know, it creates more problems than it solves. So, you know, that's where I'm at, because I don't really have time to go back and forth with folks and, you know, all of that type of confusion. So if, you know, if anybody has a real problem, I think that that's what we need to do instead of all this girly video, social media, blah, 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 blah. Let's just, when we see each other, we can go in private and we can handle that.
There you go. All right, I see a lot of you lot are typing down questions with inside of the comment section. Yeah, I'm definitely going to ask some of those questions. I see them. Don't worry, I'm going to ask some of those questions. All right, you know what? Who's got a question, actually? I think it was, you know what? At Speaker's Corner last Sunday, I don't know if anybody was actually on my Facebook and saw the little live feed that we did. You know, we had someone actually come down to Speaker's Corner. One of my brothers, Paul Gordon, and Carol, his partner, came down. You know, it's like, yeah, we've been watching Titans TV, Sarnetta TV, and so forth for the last year and a half. They've come into consciousness. They're loving seeing what's going on within the community, and you know, it was very nice. It was fun. Everybody's taking selfies and so forth. It was a beautiful thing. They dropped something to me, and I was like, I don't know about that. You know, I literally don't know about it. I tried to check to find out. I don't know if there's any truth into this. But they said to me that there was a video of yourself, Minister Enqi, talking in a cartoony form about Sarnetta. Is that true?
Well, yes and no. Yes, it's true that the video exists. But it's not just Sarnetta, it's Polite. You know what I'm saying? I think the video was directed at Polite. But see, that goes to what I'm saying with these people. You know what I'm saying? These is real hateful stalkers, right? Because the audio is not new audio. It's not a video that I consented to. It's not a video I took part in. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't even know the video was being made. What they did was they dug up some shit, and this segues kind of into the whole Polite thing, because people were like, yo, what's going on with you and Polite, blah, 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 blah. Polite is my friend. I was rocking with Polite since before there was a new covenant. Since Polite even hung out with before he even fucked with Sarnetta. Like, when you go to Polite's channel, like his channel, not House of Consciousness, you go to Polite's channel, if you look at his very first lectures, you're going to see a guy standing on stage with Polite in a suit with dreads. That's me. You know, I was early on investing in Polite's lectures and into Polite because I believed in Polite. That is my friend. You know what I'm saying? So I rock with Polite. So now people that have a problem with his business and paperwork shit and all that, I don't get involved with that. You know what I'm saying? I rock with Polite. My children rock with his children. You know what I'm saying? It's much bigger than social media stuff like that. So that's where that's at. Now, with that being said, we had a zillion different private investments. one or two which didn't go the right way. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of spilled into a public argument. You know what I'm saying? I took it public, which I shouldn't have done. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing how vicious and obsessive people can become. You know what I'm saying? But I did a blog talk radio show, and then 100 niggas copied the audio and started making their own videos, and then it just got crazy from there. So this guy now with this cartoon video, and mind you, it takes time to make a cartoon. This is why I'm saying people are obsessed. This is stalker shit. You gotta comb through videos, old ass footage to find audios to edit together. Then you gotta sit down and design cartoons and shit. Like, this is craziness. You know what I'm saying? So people hit me up on Instagram. I even had a girl hit me up today. Brother, I just seen this video. Say it ain't so. Did you make a new video about Brother Polite? I'm like, oh man. I can't, like, and it hurts because you got to take time out. Like, on one hand, you're like, you know what, I'm not answering no more questions about that. But on the other hand, you care about the people and you don't want them to be thinking craziness because, again, I'm the guy that likes to work with everybody and bridge gaps and bring people together. So I don't want people to think that, you know, whatever the case may be. Even the time that I originally did that audio, you know what I'm saying? Me and Polite that's like everybody in this that watches this video, they done had arguments, vicious arguments with their mama, their daddy, their baby mama, their baby father, their sister, their brother, their cousin, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their best friend, their neighbor, all kinds of shit. Now, it seems like somehow in the conscious community, right, that's illegal. Once you do that, it's like you got to meet at 12 o'clock noon with your pistol ready because you got to be enemies for life to the death. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying there has to be a real maturing that must take place. And, you know, like the video I did the other day talking about Sabi and how people attack Sabi and how I see it mirrored in how people attack me. If you find when you look at somebody that has a body of work, and we have to start examining people's bodies of work. Oh, hold on for 1 second. My daughter's calling me. So,
and as we're waiting for that, you know what, it's actually a beautiful thing to actually see Brother Polite actually giving a shout out to Minister Enqi at the moment. I see him. Or like the link on Talk with the Titan. So yeah, Brother Polite definitely supports Minister Enqi, and it's all love. You know, everybody within inside of the conscious family.
Right, but
there's all love. Give me 1 second. Let me just mute Brother Enqi real quickly. So yeah, I know Richie, if you're still there, I know you got a question for Minister Enqi. And I know it's directed to one of your friends. Andre has got a question. So Brother Andre, a.k.a. Gaucho, has a question for Minister Enqi. Could you now state what that question is?
Okay, yeah. Looks like Enqi wants to say something first. You want to cut him back in? Okay, you listening? Okay. All right, the question is... for my friend, Brother Andre.
Wait, hold on.
Keep saying something.
Right, before you go into that, I just wanted to say before my daughter, the thing I wanted to say is this, because it's important. I want to make sure that people get this. When you have a body of work, and it's important that we start looking at people's bodies of work for a couple of different reasons. Number one, dealing with these quote-unquote stalkers, right? We have to begin to look at people's YouTube timelines, people that have YouTube channels. If on your YouTube channel, when we go through your YouTube channel, we see that, let's just take, for example, just to make it an average number. Say the person has 100 videos up. If they have 80 to 90 of those videos dedicated to economics, then it's safe to say that this person is a financial guru or economic strategist or whatever the case may be. If out of 100 videos, they got 80 videos on fitness and health, then you could say, okay, well, this guy's trying to heal the people. if out of 100 videos they got you know, 80 videos about the science of breath, then you can say, oh, okay, well, it's fair to say they might be into martial arts or whatever the case may be. But if we look at somebody's timeline, they got 100 videos up, and 85 or 90 of those videos is them attacking various teachers and leaders in the community. Then we have to say, what the hell is that, right? I'll let you name that kind of character. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to put any names on it because you guys can do the homework yourself and search through people's timelines. But the other part is this, in regards to what I was saying about Sabia and even myself. If you find something that's incorrect, or you find out something through your research that maybe we miss, that is not going to retroactively destroy someone's entire body of work, especially someone whose someone whose body of work is so large like Sabi. You know what I'm saying? He's got 30, 40 years, beat the Supreme Court. Like, it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying, when you point out one or two little things. Like, people are crazy when they think that if they could just find out that you was incorrect on one thing, or they found something you missed, that nullifies your whole entire body of work. We have to develop some level of maturity. So I just wanted to say that, and we got to start paying attention to people's bodies of work, so that way we can start to judge what people are saying, especially in regards to other people, based on their work ethic and what it is that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, let's see what it is that you do. You got 100 videos up, 90 videos are attacking other people. So, okay, this is just another random attack. Let me just turn your channel off. Whoop. Let me go to the next person. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that in there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
There you go. You know, actually, I might have to open up the channel for some of these people, just to hear their views. And I would love to actually have everybody else come on the channel and to actually show whether they're wrong or right. No, that's something I'm going to actually think about in the future, just so we can air it out and get it out of the way, and hopefully we can all move on. And those who are still making those types of videos can stop and cease from making those videos because they're being confronted.
That would never happen. I like to, like I told you, 2016, I want to see, you know, I want to handle things in a much more private, up close and personal setting. That's what I want to do. And I want to get to some science. I know we got to get through the controversy to get to it, but I would like to talk about something beneficial to the people before it's all said and done. You know what I'm saying? I know we got into this TMZ style, you know, of consciousness where it's just like, and let me tell you, this shit kind of is like a pet peeve to me in a way, because, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm Minister Enqi, when I meet people, they want to build and they want to talk. So they want to have a quote-unquote conscious conversation because they're part of the conscious community. And what I noticed is that people don't even know what a fucking conscious conversation is anymore. They think a conscious conversation now is who's got beef with who. Yo, did you see the latest video such and such did about such and such? I'm like, yo, that's not a conscious conversation, nigga. That's gossip. That's gossip. That's not a conscious conversation. If you want to talk about quality of food and what it is that we could do to come together as a community and build and change what we're doing, build some schools and, you know, develop some economics, those are conscious conversations. If we're getting together to talk about who's the latest guy that just did a video on this guy, that is not a conscious conversation. That is TMZ, World Star, you know, the new conscious World Star bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's not a real conscious conversation. So I just want people to just be aware, because I know that a lot of people participate in that. You know what I'm saying? And we have to take the responsibility on ourselves, because a lot of people are confused when they do something. People don't really understand the nature of views. So somebody will do a video and they'll get a lot of views on it. They have no idea what the people are thinking when they're watching and why they're getting those views. So it propels them to continuously do, you know, certain types of videos just because them as a person, they are intrinsically not that interesting. But if they bring other people into the conversation that people find interesting, then they can get some views and, you know, 30, 40 seconds of fame, you know. And so we got to just kind of, like I said, maturity has to come into the game at some point. So I'm sorry, brother. Let me get to your question.
Definitely. You know what? One of my most famous quotes as well is great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. So what type of person are you? That's the question I'm going to sling out there to the conscious community. All right. So yeah, let me go straight to my brother Richie. You've got a question from brother Andre to give to Minister Enqi. So please shoot.
All right, my brother. Big up Enqi every time. As you said, let's get back to some science. Now, we've all witnessed you giving some talks on Kemetic science, especially the heart ceremony. And you've gone into depth on quantum mechanics and so on and so forth. But for my friend, who I want you to dedicate this answer to, please, his name's brother Andre, aka Groucho. Could you just speak to him on, according to Kemetic science, does the heart think? Get me? As I said, Polite's done a few videos, but yeah, if you could speak to that and dedicate the answer to him, please.
Oh, I'm on.
You on?
Oh,
you
okay.
on?
Got you. All right. So here's how it works. Now, what we have to do is change our view of that whole entire ancient civilization and the great civilizations that predated them, etc., etc. We have to understand that there are two forces at play throughout this universe in various forms, but it's the same two forces. It's the electric and the magnetic. And when we look at the Kemetic civilization, the reason why they were able to build to such heights and high degrees is because they had mastered electromagnetism, not only externally, but internally. So when you look at the weighing of the heart ceremony, the weighing of the heart ceremony is all about the electricity of the heart and the mind of the person, going back to where information is stored. So a person's mind, and science today confirms that the mind and the brain are separate. The brain is actually just a tool used to access the mind, which is why if you don't have adequate levels of iron in the brain, then you're not going to be able to have a good memory, recall, etc., etc. And the iron that our brain uses in some cases is slightly different than the iron our blood needs. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But so the heart is the most electrical organ in the body. So the heart is responsible for generating 90 to 95% of that magnetic field, which is your mind. And the way the Kemetic scientists and healers viewed the heart, even the body all the way out, is that the heart was the only thing really of importance in the body. Everything else in the body is there to facilitate and help the heart do what it needs to do, period. So in terms of the heart thinking, the heart is actually what creates the mind. Now, if we want to go just deal with the question on a purely scientific level, we are an amalgamation of cells. Every single one of our cells is thinking. Every single one of our cells eats, shits, pisses, communicates, digests, reproduces. So, you know, so that's where that's at on that level. But you know, as a collective, the heart is the most electric, so the heart creates that mind, and that mind is where the science of remaining conscious after the physical body is gone, etc., etc., comes into play. So that's what that whole science around the heart was about. And depending on the electrical activity of the body, we can expand our mind, or some people call it the aura, Some people get a little more scientific and call it a morphogenic field, and there's other names for it. You know, the Merkaba and some traditions. Um, but that's what that's based around. It's based around electricity and magnetism. And anytime you have electricity, that's going to generate a magnetic field. Period. Grand opening, grand closing. And it's undeniable that the heart is electric, which is the reason why if your heart stops, they take the two things, rub it together, clear, and jolt you with a large jolt of electricity to hopefully restart the heart again, because the heart, you know, is so electric. So like anybody that doesn't really understand that connection, obviously, you know, it's basic, simple science. You know what I'm saying? Wherever there's electricity, there's going to be magnetism. Wherever there's electricity, there's going to be some degree of light, even if that light is not in our visible spectrum. So those things all come into existence with the electron or electricity. So that's really what it was about, and that's why with the heart ceremony, all the organs, everything was removed because they were useless after the physical body died, and only the heart remained intact to keep that magnetic field intact so that it could be weighed and tested, and we can see, we can read, you know, your magnetic strip, so to speak, just like your debit card. You know, we can read that magnetic strip and see what you got on there, what your account look like. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that simple, you know what I mean? But we choose to complicate things. Like a brother asked me the other day how the pyramids was made. I said it's simple. They're made out of magnetic material. So you don't have to do much. All you got to do is use the same. How can I make this very? Oh, perfect. They already have trains that run on the same exact technology the pyramids was built with, where the entire train is actually levitating above the track because of the anti-magnetic field, correct. And all you have to do is use that same technology and you can float those big blocks into place. You know what I'm saying? It's just these people were masters of electricity and magnetism and electromagnetism proper. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing with that.
All right. You know what?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Dedicated to Andre. before I finish that, big up the legend Andre. I don't know what kind of dirty pictures or pornographic pictures you blackmailing my man with at Black Ice TV. You know what I'm saying? But obviously it's juicy. My man was like, listen, I may not make it till tomorrow if you don't say this brother's name. So big up the Lord Andre, please.
Big up every time for that, brother. Big up every time. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you, Callum. Thank you, Callum. Thank you. I got more questions. Please come back to me at a later time.
No problem. Okay, I've seen your questions on the RH monkey and the different types of fasting. So we're going to go into those, but just a little bit later on. I want to get into this, you know, this Kemetic science and talking about building your God body. Because you know what, I've actually been following Minister Enqi, or should I say, following Minister Enqi Usir on Instagram, and he literally looks like, you know what, he is Usir. He literally got all the components of his body parts back into great functioning order. Minister Enqi looks like a beast right about now. He must be at least 250 pounds of pure muscles right about now. So please go check out his channel, his Instagram, and check out the insane exercises he does on there, as well as actually I believe he's coaching other people to do certain exercises as well. So it looks real good. It looks real motivational. I'm just there looking at my weights. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm looking at my waist, I'm looking at my arms, I'm looking at Minister Enqi, I'm looking at how far away from summer is, I'm looking at the weather right now, it's getting kind of hot. I'm like, damn, I need to get back into the gym. So your motivation right now. So please talk to us about, you know, building the God body.
Okay. Well, I would say this. I'm definitely a certified sports nutritionist, a certified personal trainer, and you know, I thought that was like based on what I already know about the body. I didn't even really feel like I needed to get certified. You know what I'm saying? But in some places, you need certification for business. So I got me a little certification, and then I had some brothers that you know, one in particular, ex-NFL player, he's thinking about going back to the league. That I went down and did some training with him for a month, and he was like, well, you know, if I go back to the league, the certification, you like the league, that for people that don't know, personal trainer, there are like 10 different certifications. You know what I'm saying? And depending on the gym or what type of way you're going to use it, some people accept one, some and some don't. So he was like, in the NFL, they only really accept like the NASM, you know. So I'm also, outside of being certified, I'm back in school with NASM, paying $1,200 to get another certification, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I do know the Eastern African modalities of the body as well as the Western. And actually, the courses for people that's just into information are really good. And going through them kind of inspired me even further to put together the God Complex course, which is the three to 6 month online class that I have that people can go to the website and really learn the body in depth on a whole nother level. You know, so so with that being said, you know, even though I love the way that pump up sounded, you know what I'm saying? Minister Enqi is 250. I'm not exactly 250, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I did put on about 50 pounds from August till now. Last summer I was 173, you know. Or like when people look me up on Google and they see me there with the ripped abs, I was like between 170 and 175 with the ripped abs that you see online. But now I'm 225, you know, so I just been working and trying to get this new 50 pounds to behave, act, and look like, you know, me at 175. So that's the challenge, and I'm chopping it up right now, putting the last touches on it. So you know what I'm saying? It'll be Lady Alicious, you know, in another 4 weeks. It'll be ready for flashing in the summer. But I think that a lot of times when we look at the Kemetic text, we look at the metal netra, there's a lot of things that we miss. So one of the things that I talk about, which is kind of the most basic understanding, especially to, like, it's like a key to really unlock our whole body, is understanding the legend of Asar or Wusia. Now, he was known as the perfect black, right? The perfect black, but every time you see him in the hieroglyphs, he's green, right? So that right there is already something that, if you want to understand health, you got to dig into, you know. And the whole thing behind that is the word swaj. The word swaj, which I have a book on my website, the Diabetes Fighter Manual, swaj. And you can buy the book, or if you join the God Complex class, you get the book. You get like 10, 15 books free. One of them being that book, and it got recipes and workout stuff, and all that stuff is in the book. In fact, all of the information from the lecture I did is like 4.5 hours, called Genocide by Ammonia, the Melanin Code of Silence. All of that information is in the book, and stuff that I didn't get to go into because I had to skip it is all in that book. So anyway, the word swaj means, simultaneously, it means to green, but it also means to heal, healing. So healing in the Kemetic understanding was greening, right? So you had to green in order to heal, right? So, you know, that was one level of understanding. I had to get that. Okay, cool. Then you look at the rest of Asar or Wusia's legend. He civilized the world with the purple or the black grape, right? So a lot of people, if you don't really have the science mind, you might not put two and two together. But in science, I learned that the first edible carbohydrate, the first fruit, was scientifically, is proven, the grape. And all of the sugars and fruits after that came after that grape. That's the original carbohydrate. All right. Well, the original carbohydrate on Earth is actually formaldehyde, poisonous, but edible, healthy is the grape. Right. So that was cool. I learned that. I was like, okay, cool. Bam, we're gonna put that over there. Later on, I digging deep. You know what I'm saying? Jewel Pookrum. She had mentioned resveratrol in one of her lectures. You know, so okay, cool. You know, resveratrol, whatever. You know, white folks going crazy about it, like selling $80, $100 bottles of resveratrol supplements and all that. So, you know, I got me a couple bottles, tried. It wasn't that big of a deal. Whatever. So cool. You know, all this stuff I'm storing in that magnetic field that I call my mind. So it's just back there, hanging out. So then later on, doing research on concussions. And the research I was doing on concussions happened to run parallel to questions I was getting on melanin that I had looked through everybody's material and noticed nobody had really answered this one particular question about melanin. In the pathway from tyrosine or dopamine to actual melanin, nobody really explained what creates pheomelanin versus eumelanin. So people will say, okay, well, they know it's sulfur there, but you know, during the pathways, nobody ever basically broke it down to the point where you could understand how the sulfur actually gets inserted into the melanin molecule, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I'm studying all that kind of stuff, and then I come across this research, and immediately I hit KT up. You know what I'm saying? That's like my go-to man. Like, you know, we be on our Stockton and Malone. So immediately I go to him, and resveratrol is actually plant-based tyrosine. Now, why is that important? Because tyrosine is what forms not just melanin, but neuromelanin. So it's not just the skin melanin, but it's the neuromelanin that allows us to think, function, you know, argue, cuss each other out on social media, all whatever lovely things we want to do with the gifts that we got that allow us to articulate comes from tyrosine. So when you have your external melanin or pigment, that's by way of melanocytes, which are the cells that house melanosomes, which are the enzymes that speed up the electrification of tyrosine and produce melanin. Inside the brain is so electric that you don't actually need melanocytes. The brain's plasma, those 4 pools of electrified ionized fluid, actually perform the transformation without the aid of melanosomes or melanocytes. So tyrosine serves as the function there as well. And so all of this stuff kind of came together, and I'm like, oh, this is how Asar, Osiris, or Wusia was able to civilize the planet with these grapes. Because this is where this is where the ability to articulate comes from in the body. And this is what separates, you know, the learning speed of African American children or melanites or whatever you want to call us from other groups of people. Is because there's a little place in the brain called the substantia nigra, and this place is heavily pigmented for our babies at birth, where other groups of people, ethnic groups, they don't get pigment in that area from 12 to 24 months later on. So our babies at birth have that jump start, which is why it's important for us to do, you know, take the education into our own hands. But it goes.
That's real interesting, you know, because I know in my studies, you know, grapes are quite sacred to the deity Asar, and even when it goes down into the other records of Bacchus, you know, it speaks quite highly about the grapes, as well. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. So and that's why he's known as the perfect black, because it's the grapes, the tyrosine, that creates the blackness. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like this was crazy coming to me, and then it's also tyrosine plays the largest role in muscle development. Tyrosine plays the largest role in heart development, right? So now we're dealing with the heart all over again, because the heart is the organ in the body with the most densely packed muscle. The heart has so much muscle cells that it has its own category of muscle tissue in the body. So you have like the external muscle, the heart has its own category of muscle. That's how densely packed it is. And when you look at muscle cells, in fact, now that we're getting like in here in America, I don't know what you guys dealing with over there, but we're having like abnormal heartbeats and arrhythmias and all kinds of heart stuff going on because of the fact that the moms and the dads are deficient in tyrosine. And you know, when the babies aren't exposed to tyrosine, or they have low levels of phenylalanine, which is what becomes tyrosine in the body, then a lot of times there's incomplete heart development. So all this stuff to me was just like mind blowing. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, you know, this is what I do. I comb through clinical data and scientific laboratory paperwork, and you know, they sell this shit to block us out really expensive. Like, it's tough for me to get somebody to buy a $50 book. Now, I might write 300 pages of information or put like 600 slides in this book. I'd be like, yeah, well, you know, give me $60. Give me $100. Like, hell no, bro. I'm like, yo, do you know that the papers that I got to study, sometimes it's just 5 paragraphs, and they want $40 for 5 paragraphs. I got to buy those papers in order to go through and whatever. So, you know, it's just some people, you have to really like it. It's like some people like ball or playing, you know, one-on-one killer video games. Like, you know, I like to study. I like new information in science. Like, the body fascinates me like that. You know what I'm saying? I can study and get, like, I'm a sapiosexual. I can study, get aroused, and jump on my lady, and you know, like I you know, that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? So all these things came together, and I'm realizing that there's really an attack on our genetics specifically, because one of the things that's never discussed about type 2 diabetes is that when you have high levels of floating insulin in the body because of the type 2 diabetes, it inhibits your body's ability to process tyrosine. So this is why the children can't think. They have an inability to sufficiently develop neuromelanin to sustain their thinking because of their being overloaded with the processed foods. And so all of these things just culminated, and I was like, okay, we're going to actually have to take this to the next level, because there's so much talking about health and blah, blah, blah. Nobody, to me, was really putting a holistic health paradigm together. And when I say holistic, to me, you know, just to me, you know, as I know people like to jump on you, I feel like holistic means whole, right? So that means not just herbs, not just becoming a vegan or vegetarian. It means the plants for the healing. It means meditation, stretching, watching what we intake in terms of movies and company, the people we surround ourselves with, and most of all, exercise. So I did a video in Charlotte, and it was called The Kemetic Science of Bodybuilding, and that video has only been on my channel maybe 3 months or so, and it's already the most shared video I've ever done in history. So I was like, okay, well, let me come back and do a part 2. So I started digging more and more and more, and I found out so much information in regards to stem cells and just all of these different components of our health that surround muscle development. So one of the things that was thrown at me, you know, as slander when you posted up the flyer for the show was, yeah, this guy is so pseudo. He says that stem cells are black blood cells because they're black. Now, that's ridiculousness. You know what I'm saying? The people that know, they know I said that stem cells are black blood cells because for years, scientists have been trying to clone stem cells, and they could not do it. Only when they got Henrietta Lacks cells, and I believe she has cervical cancer, when they got her cells, they realized that black people's cells had the integrity, the physical integrity enough, the strength, the internal fortitude to survive the cloning process. That's when they started to create massive amounts of stem cell lines and stem cell cultures. And that's why I call them black blood cells, because they originate in black people. You know what I'm saying? So now, if you come from the school of thought where we're not really black people, but we're white people because the statuses and all this kind of stuff, then I can understand your frustration at me saying that kind of thing. And, hey, I have a fez. I pull my fez out and wear my fez with pride, and I do understand that in colonized venues that are made and run by Europeans, we do need to understand legal status and the legal ramifications of the things that we're saying. So in those venues, you do need to be aware of what you're saying. But when we look up at the cosmos, and we understand that when you bring all of the bands of the electromagnetic spectrum, which creates life together, they form harmony and blackness. Then we know what that term originally meant before there was even a spoken language to try to articulate the things that people saw with their eyes. Right? Because the universe existed before there was an English language or a Spanish language or Mexican language. Like, before these little rudimentary arguments could even transpire, the cosmos existed. So the blackness was already there. And then if you want to say, okay, well, people are not crayons. Of course not. But black is not even scientifically categorized as a color. Neither is white. When you bring all of the colors together and those colors compete, when they compete with one another for space, that creates white light. And when you bring those things through a prism, very similarly shaped to a pyramid, I'll just leave that there for your mind to sizzle, that extracts the truth from the white light, and then you can see the individual shades that were in there actually competing for space because they never actually blended together and formed one solid thing. With black light, it's completely different because the different aspects of the spectrum comes together in harmony. They're not competing for space. They actually come together. And so it's a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that was the whole thing with the stem cells being black blood cells. And, so when we look at understanding why building muscle is so important, because it's actually muscle that cleans the blood. It's muscle that upholds the integrity and fortitude of the body. As we're understanding that the body's electric, we have to understand that it's muscle that generates electricity. So when we're talking about electricity in the body, every time we're exercising, we're generating electricity in those areas that we're exercising. And the more we exercise, the more electricity we keep throughout the body. And, it just has a whole a cascade of things that we need to understand, like muscle cells. And this is all scientifically proven. People can look it up, research it, whatever, Western academia. But muscle tissue is almost never becomes cancerous because it's too electric. And Otto Warburg has already got the Nobel Peace Prize for demonstrating that cancer can't survive in a highly oxygenated environment. Now, I take terms like that to be racist because I understand the implication of what they're saying. The body only uses oxygen because your body's able to extract electricity from the oxygen. So it's not the oxygen per se that we need, but the electrons that our lungs are able to separate from the individual atoms of oxygen. You see what I'm saying? And if you start talking about melanin and pigment, et cetera, then it becomes, obvious, that there's a difference in genetics when you are highly pigmented, because you can make much more use out of the high levels of electricity, and you can conduct higher levels of electricity. And so that really what he discovered is that in a highly electric environment, cancer cells cannot survive. And it's proven by the fact that muscles almost never become cancerous. In fact, they got scientific papers now demonstrating that when cancer cells are engulfed by muscle cells, not only does the cancer cell get converted to a normal cell, but it gets converted into a muscle cell. And what's crazy about that is that sometimes those cancer cells didn't start out as muscle cells. So they might start out as a liver cell or a lung cell or whatever. And if they wander around, because most of the people that have cancer, they die from what's called metastasis, when the cancer actually becomes malignant and starts traveling through the body. So if them cells happen to get trapped off by some muscle cells, you know, like it's gang warfare type shit, you know, get down or lay down. That cancer cell got to become a muscle cell off with his head. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy just for me to, because when I, and that's another thing with me that makes it entertaining. When I look at these scientific things, I look at the world around me and I can see the same thing. So like one of the videos that I put up, people got offended and it was like, oh my God, Minister Enqi's too vulgar. I said, stem cells are the hood niggas of the body. Stem cells are the hood niggas of the body. And it was like, oh my God, that's just too, what is he talking about? Well, simple. Stem cells hang out in groups and clusters, right? So now that takes us back to the grape, right? And the grape, the cluster of the grape is so crazy because when you have a baby forming, it's called the marula. You know what I'm saying? And that marula looks just like a cluster of purple grapes. So anyway, so stem cells are hanging out in your body in little pools. They're called pools of satellite cells. So if you look up what a satellite cell is, it's just a group of stem cells that's hanging out. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh shit, this is what niggas on the block do. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be hanging out, little crews, whatever the case may be. And then you look at the other aspects of a stem cell. Stem cells can be anything they want to be. They could be anything they want to be, but they haven't chosen what it is that they want to be. So they have the potential to become anything. Y'all still with me? Yes? Hello?
Yeah, we're still with you. The only problem is your screen has turned black.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. As long as I can hear my voice. All right, so the stem cells, just like niggas in the hood, have the potential to do anything with their life they want to do. Right? That's what makes them a stem cell. They can become any other type of cell. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. When you look in your neighborhood, the cats on the corner have the potential to do anything with their life they want to do. So I'm like, yo, the analogy is just bananas. So that's what I was talking about. The stem cells are the hood niggas of the body, because it's like, yo, they're not getting a job. You know, they haven't decided that they want to be lung cells. They haven't decided they want to be heart cells. They're just like, nah, we're not going to do anything, but we're going to hang out together and we're going to rock like that. So, but the way that you activate stem cells in your body, the way you activate stem cells in your body is through exercise. It's through exercise. When you exercise, it's actually the stem cells that are hanging out in these satellite pools that actually heal and expand the muscle. And what martial arts did, and you know, you have to talk about the brother Damo, who is an African from North Africa that brought martial arts into the Orient, etc., etc. They do internal exercises. So what they're doing is actually exercising the internal organs, because all of your internal organs are actually muscles, right? The only internal organ you have that's not a muscle is the lungs, and the lungs relies on the diaphragm, which is a muscle. So all of the actual health of your internal muscles is dependent upon them being exercised. Now, to go a step further, nature has put up a safeguard, right? Because the purpose of life is to learn and work, right? If you don't believe that, nature has put a safeguard in your ass, and I call it the lazy nigga hormone. The lazy nigga hormone. It's called myostatin. So people can look up myostatin. What myostatin does is it actually breaks down muscle tissue and causes muscles to atrophy if they're not being used. So if you don't work, you are actually allowing yourself to die. You actually are putting yourself in a catabolic state simply by not exercising. So it's not as if you have the option to not exercise and still be healthy. It is absolutely impossible to do that. You cannot be healthy and not exercise. It's just grand opening, grand closing on that. But the problem with that and a lot of other things is that a lot of our health issues don't pop up overnight. And what I mean by that is we don't smoke one cigarette and then come down with cancer. We don't eat one bag of Skittles and get diabetes. So what happens is because it takes 10, 15, 20 years sometimes to build up the visible symptoms to where it starts to debilitate or affect our life in some way, it's very difficult for the mundane, uneducated mind to relate the sickness and illness with the actual cause because they've been doing that thing for so long that they didn't see how that could have affected it, because immediately in our mind it's like, well, if sugar is the reason that I got this, then that would have happened with my first batch of Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? Because I put damn near the whole bag of Dom, you know, like so. And it's the same thing with exercise. If we don't exercise, it's not like the next day, you know, we're just going to be a blob of water. But over time, nature is going to get rid of the people who are not contributing as a whole to life. And when I say work, I don't mean like get a 9 to 5. What I mean is that each and every one of us, our job is to contribute to, wow, I got consultations I'm supposed to be on. But our job is to contribute to genetic diversity. That's what our job is to do. Continue to add information back into the source from which all things came so that creations can keep on becoming more and more complex, so that cells can amalgamate, can come into more and more diverse creations. And we seem to think, you know, we've got a misunderstanding of life, because back when, in order to be a part of Western academia, you had to have a disbelief in God. You know, atheism is a European thing. So in order to be an astronaut, a scientist, a doctor, you had to believe in no God. You had to believe in science. It was a opposition. So when scientists discovered DNA, that became the God of the body. But we have to understand that there was a blueprint for how cells built and came together before there was actually a DNA, you know, because plasma is what controls really all physical creation. And inside the plasma of all of the cells, there's like a backup disk. You know what I'm saying? So you got DNA, that's like your memory, but then there's a backup disk called the plasmid. And that's like the early precursor to what DNA is now. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff to it. But anyway, when you go back,
before you go in a little bit, before you go any further,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Real quickly, just quick announcement. If you are actually loving the information that you're hearing so far, please, hold on one second. Give me a moment. So yeah, if you're loving the information that you're hearing so far, please give us a big thumbs up. I would like to know that you're actually liking the information, you're enjoying the information, and let me know how this information is going to actually affect and change your you know, perception of life and how you're going to actually interact, full stop. So please give us a big thumbs up. You know, for myself, you know, I'm from that, you know, from the oxygenization of the body and the bloodstream, and cancer cannot survive in oxygenated environments. Man, I'm going to need to continue doing my meditations, continue doing my breathing exercises, and continue doing my aerobics and anaerobics exercises as well. Because damn, I ain't trying to catch no ailments in this body. My body's too fine to be catching some ailments. So yeah, I definitely need to up my body, up my game, start eating oxygenated and electric foods as well. Come on, let's get it. Let's get into this.
So basically the whole entire body really is built off of you know, how tyrosine affects the body and health, mental health. You know, once that function starts to erode in the brain, and and ammonias ammonias are basically nitrogen based. So a lot of people know that I don't promote nitrogen based diets. Um, Ammonias cause a lot of the damage in the body, and also alcohols. So if we look at alcohols, which are called thiols in science, so you have different types of thiols that are produced in the body, one of which is sulfur thiol. Sulfur thiol is actually the type of alcohol that creates pheomelanin. So it's just a whole bunch of different things, and then me understanding, okay, well, um, I'm thinking just about, we're talking about amino acids, and then I find out that not only are there 8 essential amino acids, but there are also 8 essential sugars. And so when I look at that in my mind, I'm like, well, let me see if there's any different affinity for these different sugars. So our processed food is run particularly on glucose right now, but actually our bodies prefer galactose, which is the better sugar for our bodies. And galactose is actually the sugar that allows melanin to be processed. It's what allows keratinocytes or adult stem cells, which are also, just um, called skin cells, right? But your skin cells are actually adult stem cells. So even your skin cells that you're looking at, well, the skin cells you're looking at are dead, but the skin cells are actually adult stem cells. And in order for melanocytes to be able to impregnate them with melanin to make them dark, brown, yellow, whatever, it's galactose, that sugar that actually binds the melanin to the cells. It's galactose-based enzymes that allows for that process to happen. So, I had and this was a couple of years ago, I really started getting into this, before even all this information. So a lot of times it's a body of work where you start to really be able to put things together and get a much broader understanding. A sister asked me that she was really dark, her man was really dark, and they had a light-skinned baby. So she was like, well, how is that possible, minister? And I said, well, you might have been slipping and dipping, nigga. Who was that other nigga? No, I'm just kidding. I was like, I'll look into it. You know what I'm saying? So when I started looking into it, I realized that galactose was missing from the diet. And galactose is a lot more efficient for the body. It's a lot more efficient for the cells to run on. And then muscle cells are so electric that they actually have multiple nucleuses. These are the only cells in the body that have more than one nucleus. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, that's why I put together the God Complex course, so that people can go through and really learn the body in depth. Because one of the things that we shouldn't play with, like in the conscious community.
Sorry, let me just stop you real quickly. Just real quickly, I just want to stop you. Where can we find this God Consciousness course?
The God Complex course. It's on 40 Day Fruit Fast, the 40dayfruitfast.com, the website. So one of the reasons why I put it together is because I saw that people don't really understand the science themselves. So what they do is, because they don't understand the science, and most people are lazy, they just go based on personality worship. If they like the way this guy talks or dresses, or they're in cahoots with the friends or whatever the case may be, then they go along with the info. And that's cool if we're arguing about health, religion, money, or something like that. But if we're talking about life or death, your health, then that's not something that you want to just play around with. You know what I'm saying? So I made the course so that you would learn in-depth information. And what the course is, it's not a whole bunch of Minister Enqi information. I don't want people to think that's what the course is. My books are included, but the course is actually the college level text on health science and medicine, et cetera, in comparison to the natural African kind of paradigms. So you learn both of them concurrent together. So you learn both together. So that's what I wanted people to do. So that way, once they know the body themselves, they are no longer subject to just listening to me, Dr. Oz, Dr. Africa, Dr. Sabi, anybody. They know the body, so when they hear somebody speak, they'll know how to apply whatever it is that they're talking about, and they'll know what is needed, et cetera. So I wanted to put people in control of their own health, as opposed to just saying, well, I know the body really well, and if something happens to you, come get some products from me, and then you'll be all right. I wanted people to eventually, I want to get over the hump, because I think it's really embarrassing for us to say, and it's not just us, because we actually got this verification from European scientists that pigmented genes are dominant genes and dominant traits throughout the human or the mankind species, right? So if we have the largest abundance of dominant genes, to me it's really embarrassing that we lead in every category of illness. We lead in every form of cancer except skin cancer. Type 2 diabetes is almost exclusively black folks. Now, because of the sodas and all the crazy stuff, you got a lot of other people dealing with some issues too, but it's like 80-90% is black folks with this issue. The heart disease, high blood pressure, and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes information can just make the difference. With high blood pressure, the blood is exerting pressure on the circulatory tissues to excrete and push out toxins. So instead of getting medication, which is cool, I'm not, whatever your cup of tea is, but at some point, if you know how the body works, then you would say, hey, if I'm so full of toxins that is creating high blood pressure because there's so much toxins to try to force through the tissues at once, maybe I should cut down on these toxins. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times this stuff becomes a lot more simplified if we understand what's going on. And we can't do the old school, like, oh, well, it's up to the next generation. It's up to the next generation. Because right now we're in a situation where 1 in 6 people on this planet don't even have access to clean water. And those statistics are not even accurate, because those statistics have all Americans with access to good, clean, free water. And we know that's not true. With the Flint issue is just exposing a larger issue, because most of the cities in America are dealing with some level of pollution in the water. You can go on the internet right now and see motherfuckers who can put a lighter to their water and the shit goes on fire because of fracking and all kinds of other crazy shit that's going on. So we really have no other crisis larger than the health crisis. And the craziest thing about that is it's almost completely self-induced, because you really have 2 broad categories of illness. You have illnesses and debilities that you're born with, and then you have stuff that you acquire after birth. And almost all of the stuff that we acquire that we weren't born with is based on our lifestyle, which means that for better or for worse, we are responsible for the shit that we get, and the way it is it's true. The way they say anything in life that you work for consistently, you will get. And that holds true whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing that you're going to get. Just like I was saying earlier, the first cigarette don't give you cancer, but if you dedicate your money and your time to making sure that you have cigarettes and time to smoke cigarettes, you will catch some shit. Guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with eating the reckless processed sugars and all that kind of stuff. So we got to dedicate time to that. So I look at people all the time, and now I'm in a different place. But originally it was hard for me to even have patience for people because they smoke cigarettes or they drink, and I've done all those things. And they say, well, I don't have time to exercise. I'm like, how many cigarettes you smoke a day? 6? We'll take about 10 minutes a cigarette. So that's about 60 minutes right there that you could be exercising instead of the cigarettes. Like, you have to replace these habits that we have. You know what I'm saying? Because a large dynamic to breaking habits is time. You know what I'm saying? I learned that from smoking cigarettes myself. The hardest cigarettes to quit was the cigarette when I was using the bathroom, the cigarette after food. You know what I'm saying? Then if you go have a little drinky drink, it's like, oh my God, I gotta have a cigarette. So those were the hardest times to break. So I realized that there was not only a social component, but a habit based on time. So all of that, we got to manage. And You know, I know it's not enough time because I gotta actually shut down the gym. You know what I'm saying? Security will be down here any second. Like, hey, I don't know where you're going, but you got to get the fuck out of here.
All right. So, real quickly before our brother Minister Enqi has to go, he's been dropping some powerful information all throughout all the sciences and so forth. I know family members of mine are tuning right now and are
Oh, wait a
happy.
minute. Oh, wait. I can't let the show go off.
Okay.
So, I may have touched on it earlier, may have not. When I start talking, I be getting like damn near schizophrenic with the information. I'll be all over the place. So, yes, let me make it clear. Minister Enqi is definitely still with Polite. New Covenant for me. We came up with New Covenant together in the back of an Ali Muhammad class. We was looking at the way his shit was running, and we was like, nah, we need something better than this. And boom, later on became New Covenant. But we had our little internal beef, you know what I'm saying? And then, we kind of split up back then, and that's when he really went to work and put together New Covenant by himself. But Polite is my man.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
That's right.
I got pictures. I got pictures with my kids and his kids that matter of fact, I should throw this shit on my Instagram because I was going through my cell phone, and a lot of people don't see this when they think about Polite. You know what I'm saying? But I got pictures with Polite teaching his daughter how to ride her bike and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where it is. You know what I'm saying? So we're not like sitting somewhere plotting on taking over the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like regular human being shit. You know what I'm saying? When you're on social media, they don't think that you're regular people. Like, we're regular people. We go to the fucking movies and we talk about, like Cleveland just fucking set a new three-pointer record and scorched Atlanta Hawks. Like, we're going to talk about those things. We're not going to get on the phone and spend an hour talking about who made a video and all that kind of bullshit. Like, there's life outside of social media. So,
Definitely. And I want to ask you a few more questions before you go. I know we got literally close to 200 people tuning in right now. Over 200 people, close to 200 people tuning in right now. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let us know that you love the information. Please hit that like button. And as well, sharing the link is paramount. If you know somebody out there who will actually benefit from this information, please share the link. If you know anybody who's actually suffering, or you got people within inside of your family that's suffering from diabetes or even cancer, I'm pretty sure this information right now will actually benefit, affect, and possibly change their life for the better coming up. So please hit the share button and like it. Help others people to discover this show today, because this was definitely something worth seeing. We've got a brother here that's constantly bombarded me with this question, so I'm going to have to ask this question real quickly. Do white people come from rhesus monkey because RH positive is the original, but RH negative?
I know it. Yo, I can't escape that. One day we was down, and this is a couple years ago. This is years ago. I'm with the Black and Nobel crew. We down in Washington, D.C. This is one of Obama's elections and shit. So we selling Obama shit down there. You know what I'm saying? And a girl got her head down, looking at her phone, and literally walks right into me. And I had like a superstar moment. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. I'm watching you on my phone right now." Blah, blah, blah. Everybody is on that. Big up to Natural Tahuti. Like, that is the most famous Minister Enqi debate of all time. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing that people have to grapple with, because people want to agree with it, they want to disagree with it. This is what I'll say, and this is where people have to go and do their own research and see what they're comfortable with that gets them to sleep at night. The RH factor exists. That is a fact. We can't get around that. RH factor, anyone can look up on Google, what is RH factor? It is rhesus monkey proteins. Now, these rhesus monkey proteins have somehow got into the bloodstreams of people and is not leaving. Period. It's a part of your blood. So everyone, no matter what your blood type is, you have the positive or you have the negative, right? So now that is a scientific fact. Now you couple that with the scientific fact that the original people that are Africans, the people that have that African lineage, they didn't find any traces of what's considered Neanderthal or caveman or ancient Europeans in their bloodlines, right? So when you look at that, you have to say to yourself, okay, well, wow, that means there's at least two separate origins of two different types of people, because you have one that carries this lineage of DNA from what's called Neanderthals, or what's known as the ancient man from the ice area. Then you have another lineage of people that doesn't have any trace of that DNA coming from Africa, right? And it's completely two separate climates. Now, when you look at the biology that doesn't support pigment, the only way that biology could be produced is if it originated in a place with no sunlight, which is the reason why people that don't have pigment have problems in the sunlight, because where they originated, there was no sunlight. It's very simple. And now when you look at the two basic blood types, you have the Rh negative, Rh positive. You have to come to grips with those things. So now, if I give you my opinion, that could be conjecture and debatable, et cetera, et cetera. But those are scientific facts that I just stated, and people have to grapple with that. So now the story that scientists will give you is that some doctor spilled a sample of monkey blood and mixed it with some people's blood, and then somehow there's a Rh factor. I'm like, well, how the hell did that spill get from that local hospital into everybody's bloodstream? I'm like, sometimes it's just bullshit is bullshit. So somehow people have to answer that question. Where did rhesus monkey proteins come from that were able to bind with your blood in a way that is passed down now as part of your genetic heritage, as a part of your bloodline? So that's something people got to deal with. And here's the thing. There are a group of people that have it, and there are a group of people that do not. So there's, again, evidence right there for at least two different origins of people. Somehow there's a group that's mixed with that thing there, then there's a group that's not mixed with that thing there. And then once you add in hundreds and thousands of years of mixing and interracial sex and shit gets real cloudy now, and it's like, okay, well, so it gets hard to really differentiate some of the specifics that people want to overlay, like, oh, well, erythroblastosis, the first known case was a white woman. So it's like, okay, if that's the case, where the first known case was a white woman, but you got to say to yourself, they just start documenting black folks in hospitals. They just start documenting our stuff because they just start recognizing us in these European countries and just start allowing us to. So a lot of our stuff didn't go documented in. So there's a lot of different things. But what I would say is today we face such big issues as a generation. Some of these old arguments are like out of style in a way, like they're out of place, because right now we have to get comfortable with the fact that we are all here now together. And if we don't get our shit together, there's not going to be a planet for white folks, black folks, red folks, yellow folks. Nobody's going to be able to inhabit this motherfucker in a minute. So, we got to be able to prioritize. It's just like if you on the street having a fist fight with your brother, and then a stranger comes and starts saying shit, immediately y'all stop fighting, whoop his ass, and then y'all go back to fighting, right? So we have to be able to say, look, if we want to continue these arguments, cool. First thing we got to do is save the planet, save our babies, get rid of this, figure out how we're going to have clean water and clean air and all of this shit into, the future. And then we can go back to, our little religious wars and whites versus blacks and all the other bullshit that's kind of transient when we think about losing the planet. But I have to get out of here. So anybody that wants to catch up, they can go to my YouTube, Minister Enqi. They can go to the website, 40dayfruitfast.com. Instagram me. I'm always on the IG. I'm always throwing up science mixed with a little ratchetness, because that's who I am. I'm from 158th Street. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be noticing when I I be liking I'm out of here. I'll be liking, that's security right now, let me know I gotta go. But I'll be liking and I always lose followers and stuff like this. So I be noticing when I be liking fat butt pictures and all that, I be losing followers on Instagram. So I'm like, yo, I be needing to look. I like beautiful women. That shit inspires me to get this thing going in the gym every day. Cause you know, these weights don't lift their motherfucking self. And as smart as I ain't seen a nigga smart enough yet to float some of these weights in the air with their mind. So you know, you gotta find the whatever inspires you. You know what I'm saying? So me, I like to see booties and breasts, and you know, that's what it gets me going. So that makes my blood flow, and then I get busy. So if me liking beautiful women runs you away from my page, please go ahead and just kill yourself now. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I will continue to live. Trust me. With 2 or 3 less Instagram followers. You know what I'm saying? But so that's my whole thing. I'm out of here.
All right. Thank you, Minister Enqi.
Peace to the
We're definitely going to get some of these questions across to you very soon. I see my brother Shesmu, you're here, Richie, and so forth, that you want to get those questions across. We'll get them across to Minister Enqi, and hopefully we'll have him on a future show to actually answer those questions. Now, to my audience members, I've got to give a big shout out to Robin White, who's actually supported us and donated to the channel. Thank you, sister, for donating and supporting Talk with the Titans TV. And yeah, anybody else who would love to actually support the channel and support the great works we've been doing, please, yeah, hit me up if you would like to send over a donation and anything else. We'll get that sorted. Yeah, of course, and I can see a lot of you that you was tuned in earlier on today with all of the interviews that we had today within the studio, as we did last week as well. Yeah, please stay tuned. We're definitely going to have some of those videos up very soon. We had a brother, Robin Walker. Robin Walker, he's the author of the world-famous When We Ruled. You know, his book, that is a big book as well. Yeah. You're gonna see the interviews. You know, I'm so tired. I've been up since early morning, and it's early morning again right now. So yeah, check that interview out. Also check out, who else did we have on today? We had who else? We had Michael Ojuru. He is the black art and Renaissance man, finding actually you know, blacks within inside of Europe and in Renaissance Europe and England, depicted in paintings and so forth all around Europe and especially the UK. So that's something that you definitely have to check out. And as well, you know, we had one of the most controversial individuals, actually one of the most controversial individuals within inside of the UK at the moment, within inside of the Speaker's Corner, where most of the consciousness is permeated. You know, and that was the brother Jay Smith. Jay Smith, he's actually a polemicist, a Christian polemicist, a white Christian polemicist. He came on the channel today and attacking Islam as he does best. And for all of my Muslims out there who is interested, or those who are interested in Islam, or if you're not interested in Islam and you want to have information that gears you up to fight, you know, the information or misinformation that most Muslims or Islam actually projects onto the world, you definitely have to check that out. It is very controversial. I'm going to warn you from now. It is very, very controversial. But if you like controversy and you like powerful information, you like thought-provoking information, and you do have a curious mind, please check that out. There's going to be another video that's going to be dropping soon. We had a sister, Desiree, come on today as well. She deals with, she's a life coach, you know, goal setting, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. She's a practitioner of that as well. So that's real powerful information. So if you want to get your goals achieved, you want to be disciplined, you want to set yourself new habits to make yourself a success, as well as visualizations and all those good stuff there, please check out that interview that will be dropping pretty soon as well. What you say, my people? Let me just quickly scroll up before I actually do close the show down. Shout outs to you, Miss Yummy Yum 69. Get Dr. Layla Africa on your show. Definitely. That is somebody we'll be looking into getting on the show as well. Okay, let's see. Cleopatra, wow, sorry. Shall me adopt Titans TV? Okay. Let's see real quickly. Just want to get everybody up. Yes, B Dot will be coming on very soon. We've been extremely busy. We was going to have him on, but we've been extremely busy, so we will definitely have him on. Black and African Power Family salute. Kalam and Titans TV. That's from my brother Mac Tip. Love that brother right there. He supports us. Indeed. Again, I'm gonna have to shout my sister out, Robin White, who has actually been there. She comes on as well as Cleopatra Sci-Fi, Brick City, and others who actually support the channel, almost religiously. And I have to give my thanks to you guys for spreading the consciousness with inside of your own sphere and actually supporting us. We definitely do appreciate all of that. Yeah, so sci-fi. I mean, sorry, not sci-fi. Sorry, well, my mind is just going right now. My sister Robin White, thank you again. I have to applaud you for actually donating to us. Yep, every single penny actually helps. You know what? We've actually got some debates coming on. So we've got Jay Smith actually debating at Speaker's Corner against Shabir Yusuf. So if you haven't, get Lady Leisha. That's my babes right there, Lady Leisha. That's actually Konsu's cousin, brother Konsu, who's on Team Osiris. That's actually his cousin. She's a good. Anyway, let me not even go there. So yeah, thank you again for Robin White for donating to us. We're definitely going to make that go to good use. We've got debates coming up, Shabir Yusuf versus Jay Smith, so please check out the Speaker's Corner section for that as well. And also, we've got another debate coming up with Adnan Rashid and James White. So we're going to definitely be covering that. And some of that donation money will be used to actually purchase. It's roughly about $800, $700 worth of equipment. So we're definitely going to have a very high quality video and very high quality audio streaming going on for those debates. And I'm going to make those purchases. But if anybody else would actually like to help me with those purchases, feel free to actually donate some money to us. We've got a Patreon account that is actually linked up at the bottom of our page, where you basically, if you love certain YouTube shows or channels, you can donate to them via Patreon, either as a one-off thing or as a continuous monthly thing as well. Otherwise, you can literally just go to my PayPal, and it's KABIRU9 That is KABIRU9 if it's in your heart to actually donate to us and help us to bring you high quality information and high quality video and other things as well. So please feel free to donate. Yeah, feel free to donate, man. I won't press you on that, but at the same time, it's not free and cheap to actually spend out this money to actually produce these shows for you. Let's see. Alan Ray's kind of agree with everything Babada say on his show. Okay, so you lot talking about Africa Bombarda. I definitely need to go into that and actually find out what's going on with that case. I'm not too familiar with it. I've heard certain things, and I'm quite astonished, and I'm quite upset by certain things that's been revealed. Unfortunately, I'm not in America to actually be there to actually get the inside scoop, although I do speak to everybody in America. But I'm not even trying to focus on that too much. I'll let other channels who are closer to African Bombarda and all those people to actually go into that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually going to sign out very shortly. If there's any last things that you lot would like to hear, real quickly, please comment down below and just tag Titans TV. I'll keep it on for another minute, and afterwards I shall close out. Richie, how you doing, King? Yeah, I definitely should have.
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm here.
I definitely should have my PayPal listed. I'm not. I've been kind of adverse to.
You gotta get on that, brother.
Yeah, I've been very adverse actually to actually doing a lot of the GoFundMe's and things like that, because it gets quite political. gets quite political, and I like to be a very upfront person with, you know, what's going on in terms of, you know, money. So I like to be quite upfront with that. Yeah. So my brother, yeah, you know, we was today at the studio doing a lot of filming. This is Black Eyes TV 7. If you haven't already, please go and check out this brother's channel, Black Eyes TV 7.
Big up, big up,
Black
big up.
Eyes
Thank you,
TV
Kalam.
7. Yeah.
And
So yeah, we've been doing a lot of interviews as well. And if you lot will like to be interested in what Calamel believes in, how did Calamel actually get started? What is
jeez,
Titans TV? Talk with the Titans, etc., and all those good stuff that I'm pretty sure a lot of you have been asking. I can see a lot have been literally spamming certain videos. You know, is Kalam a Kemetic? Is Kalam a Hebrew? You know, what does Kalam believe in, etc., even on other people's channel, which is quite worrying. Might be.
yeah.
It's quite worrying. It's quite worrying to see that. But yeah, that's nice. That's very interesting. That
That's
I'm
why we're gonna
interested.
clear this up. We're gonna clear this up for the people, then, Callum. Don't worry.
You know,
Everyone, check out this interview. I'm gonna go in on him. I'm gonna get them questions answered. I'm gonna peg him down. Don't worry, people. Titans TV, Black Eyes TV 7. Check it out.
there you go. So that's love. Well, I think I should feel honored that you know, you are actually interested in Callum's beliefs. Like, what does Callum believe in? So I feel honored. To be honest with you, that you actually want to know what I believe in, I suppose. Or if I even have any beliefs. That's a good question. Am I even an atheist? Do I even have beliefs? So yeah, that's real. That's real. Um, so yeah, I'm actually gonna, let's see, sign out really shortly. Yeah, let's sign out really shortly. I think I need to go to bed right about now. So we've had a great day today. We've had a great day with filming. We've had about 4 interviews that we've done today. Well, actually, this is the 5th interview that we've done today. I think I've been up since about 8 something in the morning, and I went to bed around 5:30 in the morning. So I've had little to no sleep. So hopefully today I'm gonna have a nice full day's sleep, which is gonna be real good for me. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you lot tomorrow, and hopefully we can drop some shows. Actually, real quickly, I'm actually gonna try to get you know, some members of the community to come in and speak about Freemasonry. We had the Rabbi Rosenberg give us some information on Freemasonry and so-called expose Freemasonry. So we definitely want to hear the other side of the story. We want to hear the Africans within inside of Freemasonry, and is there even an African origins of Freemasonry? Full stop. You know, I think we should actually, I really do want to do a tour of the Freemasonic Grand Lodge in the UK. I've been there, I've had access several times. I definitely would love to actually bring that information out to the family. I don't know if our family is actually interested in Freemasonry. If they are, I definitely would love to actually give you that information and actually go into the archives, and show you some ancient documentation concerning Freemasonry, and even show you my findings pertaining to Freemasonry as well. So definitely. But I don't know if the community is actually interested in those types of topics there. So we're gonna find out anyway, because we're definitely gonna have, I believe we're gonna have Brother Konsum, Brother Ngozi from Team Osiris. We're also gonna have the Mossy Warrior Clan coming in as well to give a talk on that, and hopefully we can get some Prince Hall Masons over in America, Florida, etc., to give an expose on Freemasonry as well. Yeah. Black Eyes TV 7, Richie, is there anything else you would like to say?
No, just you know, big up for the opportunity. You know, I want to thank the people that tuned in earlier. There was a lot of love on the comment board, a lot of good questions, a lot of funny questions. And as I said, just look out for the interview. And yeah, big up to my man Terry Riggs, HKTH Knowledge and Travels. Yeah, holding it up, arranging some of the guests to come in, most definitely, as he did for me as well. So we'll go big him up as well. But yeah, man, just keep doing what you're doing and watch this space, UK to USA. We answer questions here. All black everything. Remember that.
There you
Black
go.
Eyes TV 7.
All right. So peace, family. I'm gonna sign out right now, and I'm gonna get my much needed rest. Okay. All right. Peace to you.